Awesome. Thank you. Okay, guys. So my name is Nick Schultz. I am from The Truth. Thank you for having us. I tell you, it's been a great process we've gone through over the last few months to kind of rally behind this brand. The goal here for us was to help this team, which just a few minutes ago looked like close to 62 participants. That's amazing. 62 or so partnerships with different backgrounds, in different places, in different regions, different specialties, all feel like one cohesive unit. I mean, I think what we heard loud and clear with the RMRI is bringing together a new model to really focus the resources in the right place, using and leveraging the right partners. And so we want to make sure that the brand feels that way. So at any time, if any individual is representing the Rocky Mountain Restoration Initiative, either in outreach or in communications or in brand and materials, all of it feels the same. Because if we do that, I think it really embodies that collaborative spirit that's really at the heart of the RMRI. So that was the kind of the premise for the branding work, is to try to create that singular feel that everyone can be a part of. So what I'm going to go through today here is the document that kind of outlines where the brand stands and sort of the guardrails on how to use that. And we'll do this in just a few minutes. It won't take too long because we'll be able to share this document out. And it's fairly self-explanatory once you get in it. So what I'm hoping to do is give everyone, the 25,000-foot view of kind of what are the pages in here, what the kind of role of the document is and different sections. And then from there, you guys can kind of take it and run with it. Nathan will eventually make all of these assets available for download at a given time later in the year. So with that, let me go ahead and step through the document. So this is version 1.1 of the document. So if you do receive it, make sure you look at the dates down below, and you're using the latest one. Occasionally, this will get updated with more content. So just make sure you're tracking and look at the publish date for that. Okay. The first part of the document establishes what the document is all about. Okay. So this is kind of what I've just touched on around getting this group of 62 plus partners all working together, all feeling like they work together through a singular brand. So that kind of speaks to that. We then start up really high level. So we want to make sure from a communication standpoint that we're all telling the same story, okay? So we took a little time to write what the kind of big picture brand story of RMRI is up here at the beginning of the deck. I won't go through the specifics, but that's the role there, is to make sure we're all aligned. Big picture, here's kind of the story that we're telling on behalf of RMRI. There are several key components to what makes up our brand, and that's the mission, which is familiar to everyone, the vision, and then we've added this element in here called our task. So this just makes it a little bit more contextual. It adds some of that kind of action feel to those vision and mission statements, which are pretty high level. It kind of grounds those two statements with the task. So, and then the last section here within the kind of upfront is the value. So this is all very familiar with everyone here. One thing that we did do is we've redesigned the icons for the values. You may recall they were a little different looking in the original iteration. This new version has clean circles and rings that all kind of interlock together. So that is the opening of the document. So it's just an overview, our brand story, a recap of our mission and vision, a grounding that talks about how we think about our task from a day-to-day effort, and what are the 4 values, okay? This next page here is not necessarily applicable to everyone that may use this document. The pages that preceded this are pretty high level and really focus on the communication. But at the end of the day, we have residents, businesses, and visitors who are kind of primary audience, specifically those that are in the the regions that are immediately affected. So the Rocky Mountain territory, that large landscape. So what we wanted to do was translate those big picture, vision, mission, task kind of stories and messages into things that are a little bit more closer in to how it affects the residents, how it affects the businesses, and how it affects the visitors. So in this document here, we've got an insight around the residents, which is a very kind of general insight about how residents feel in regard to the Rocky Mountains, businesses, and the same for visitors. And then what the RMRI does to help to help each of these individuals, entities, kind of continue to live and thrive in the area. All right. We've also got down here what our prime prospect is, which really is our residents. Okay. Those that live in the area, live and work in the area. And we've got some details on here on how we think about communicating to them and kind of where their mindset is. So this document gets a little bit more into the strategic communications when we think about various potential targets that we would talk to. Definitely beyond the logo design. It's removed certainly from all of that stuff and the look and feel, and really just focused on how do we translate these big picture vision, mission, task, and values to everyday communication. How do we think about that? So it provides a foundation for all of that communication moving forward. Okay. All right. So then we transition into, that's kind of the verbal aspect of RMRI. Then we get into the visual aspect. And so for here, we've got the main logo. So I know a lot of the folks that were on this call, are on this call, have been involved in this process, have contributed their voice. And so we really appreciate all the feedback that we have gotten. There were 4 kind of main areas going into this logo that, kind of boiled to the surface. We felt that we needed to account for somehow in the actual logo. First and foremost, it was when we think about mobilization of partners, we think about cross-boundary solutions, we think about collaboration. The visual that comes to mind are these pieces that are starting to kind of weave together, come together as one and work as one, all linking together tightly and kind of perfect. And so that idea, I think, was something that we felt was important to embody in the logo, because that's really what's going to make the RMRI work well, is that collaboration and that sharing of resources. The other part was the mountains. Of course, we know it's the Rocky Mountain Restoration Initiative, and is there a way to combine that with certainly a mountain feel to make sure it's very clear that the mountains are going to be our focus and the areas immediately around the mountains and affected by the mountains. This idea of restore, so kind of getting back to this, the kind of the way it was, a freshening, felt like there's a way to maybe look at that through color, with kind of clean, more bright colors that feel new and vibrant. And then of course the 4 values. We think about forest and wildlife, recreation, communications, and our communities, and clear water. Those 4 values were something that we wanted to speak to. So those elements, when you put them all together and you start to, kind of work through different shapes and icons and things to represent them, this is where we netted out with this icon here that represents, I think, all of those elements together. We've got the mountains, of course. We've got the 4 peaks, which represent the 4 values. We've got the colors, which are clean and vibrant, feel fresh and new. And then we've got the kind of quilting pattern, which feels like different elements overlapping and working together, all to create something of beauty. And that's really where the logo netted out and why we think it works so well. We've got underneath that in the logo type Rocky Mountain Restoration Initiative, or RMRI, both in this clean sans serif font to give it kind of a contemporary feel. So the document explains that logo in that paragraph down there. We do kind of write about those points. And then we go on to talk about the different compositions of the logo, as well as kind of the do's and don'ts. And so that's what follows in the document. So we've got different orientations of the logo. We've got the emblem we'll call a top, with the type at the bottom, both in long form and short form, both in white and black. We understand that color may be not a place that it can be used at every instance, every application. So we have a white version and a black version made available here in both of those compositions. Okay, and you can see that when we start to place it on documents, or apply it on different skier and swag out into the wild, it holds up pretty darn nicely. So you can see that on the mug, you can see that on the cap. We've got it here kind of on a vinyl sticker that's on glass, and so on. So a lot of different flexibilities we have with that, a lot of different options. We've got some alternate lockups as well, where the emblem is to the left of the logo type, and again, both in the long form version and the short form version, the acronym, and then both in color and black and white. So all of these assets will be made available to the teams in multiple different file formats. And should you guys ever feel like you need something that is not in there, then we're just a phone call away. We can help get you what you need. We have some rules around how to use it. This is really to make sure that we kind of maintain the integrity of the mark. So you'll see in the document some spacing, which we're calling padding here. We've got the use of this actual triangle that can be placed around the kind of perimeter of the logo to act as the padding between the logo and the rest of the elements that might be on a page or a screen. And then we've got a whole list of kind of do's and don'ts. So this is important because we want to maintain that integrity of the logo. We certainly don't want to be, changing colors and kind of moving pieces around. That's gonna water down the mark, and I think it's gonna, in the end of the day, water down the equity that we have. So we got to make sure we maintain and stick to the logo versions that are supplied, and keep in mind the kind of do's and don'ts on how to use them. And then finally, we've got listed here at the back the actual fonts that will be used for communication. All of these are free. They're Google fonts. Everyone can download them, no payment. There's one's called Source Serif. That's the actual serif font that you see up here in logo alterations, and the other one's called Montserrat, which is the serif font that's down here. So not that many folks will be creating applications where they're going to need multiple fonts, but if there happens to be that, then these are the fonts to use. And we've got a few Word doc templates and things already supplied that has that baked in, so there shouldn't be any issue there. So with that, that is the document. I want to thank everybody for their time, and especially thank you for all your work on behalf of the RMRI. It's a tremendous partnership, and we've been thrilled to serve our little role in helping to make it even stronger.